My initial Edge video was kind of analytic and very comprehensive, since I had no clue what it actually did. So I first explained the synth to myself, and at the end I had quite some fun making the demo. Also, Hannes was on a field mission to a festival, and so I had to do the video all by myself. So here we go with the Behringer EDGE by using it in the studio, including it to our usual workflow. As a homework, Hannes recorded some sequences into Ableton and prepared a little arrangement. Yesterday we straightened out the edges and fine-tuned the mix here in the studio. Los geht's! So tell me your overall first impression. Was it hard to get it to make some decent sounds?
Not really. It was quite simple. It works very well with the DAW, and the sounds was like very fat in an analog way. I get in a very good and fast workflow with the synthesizer.
Yeah, so what are your pro points for the Edge?
My pro points for the Edge is first, the size is like pretty small and pretty handsome. It is super solid manufactured as like the Moog products or something else. It is like metal, it is heavy, and the knobs are very heavy too. So
okay.
It is not loose.
Feels good.
Feels very good. The sound is huge, what I said before. So it is an analog synthesizer, what should I say? Mm-hmm. It is very good that it have also a sequencer inside the synthesizer. So you can change between the internal sequencer or the external sequencer, what is just a knob here on the synthesizer, and you can change direct to Ableton or to the internal sequencer.
Ah, cool, yeah, you can do it like this.
Is very awesome, and for a beginner like me, it's a good tool.
Okay, and what about connectivity?
Connectivity is also very good. It has DIN MIDI, it has USB MIDI too. So everything you need for a proper workflow nowadays.
Another plus when you don't use the internal sequencer and control the Edge via Ableton, you always have the velocity as a modulation source. This makes it very handy to create lively bass and percussion lines. Alright, other pro points?
Yeah, I think the last and least is the good price.
And do you have any cons?
Yeah, it has no sawtooth. It has only triangle and square, so you cannot go to a sawtooth. And it only has a mini jack for the output, what I personally didn't like, because
yeah, it's always the type of adapter you don't have as a normal studio guy. Of course, if your studio is full of Eurorack stuff, then it's no problem. But yeah, the Edge costs about 200 euros. Would you want to spend 600 euros, so 3 times as much for a similar one that has no MIDI and says Moog on it?
For me, definitely not. It's a bit limited, yeah. So I would spend 600 or 800 in a bigger synthesizer that have a bit more variations in the sound design.
Okay, cool. For once, Team Moog agrees here. Okay, so let's hear some of the single tracks you produced for your demo.
Okay.
And later on I have another sound idea I would like to show you and our viewers.
Okay.
Und jetzt kann es losgehen.
Action.
So the first thing I did was to record all the drum sounds. I added a kick, a head, and 2 different snares, 2 different heads. With that I create my basic drum loop, that I have something where I can start to build up the track. I always start with the drums, Some people start with synthesizer, but I always start with drums.
And did you use the internal sequencer to make loop for the drums?
No.
You just recorded.
I just recorded like one shot of the drum sound, like one head, and then I made with the drum rack the groove.
Okay, let's hear your kick and your basic grooves then.
I made the kick first. Yeah. So this is the kick I recorded. Then we made in the heads. Then it's like that basic techno groove with the head on the 3.
Okay.
Then the snare. It's, I think, on the same counting. It makes it a bit more fat with the snare. Then a snare more. That is more like a head sound. More like a clap sound on that position, I think on the 2. And then a head sound for 16.
Yeah, the 16th note.
16th note, yeah. And that is my basic groove sound for like a techno track, what is a bit harder and a bit faster.
Okay.
Then I choose a second drum pack to make it a bit more full, because that drums are like more like a edge.
Genau. Edgy sounds.
So then
okay, let's hear the second set.
I create with another drum package from the packs that you can download in Ableton.
So this is more kind of natural drums.
More kind of natural and classic drums, because I don't want to have a 909 or 808, because then it is a 909 or 808 flavor, and so I have classic drums in combination with the edge drums,
cool idea. So
it sounds a bit more like the edge. No. And then it's listen like this. And so we have like a very good straightforward drum groove for dancing your whole night.
Okay.
The third one is also drum. It is written TD3, but it is wrong. It is all channels are drums. And the third one is a live recording of where I play drums live to that loop I created before. So then it can happen something what usually is not happen if you made it with the mouse and click. So then it listen like this. And we had to make the loop a bit more open to listen where I play something live, like yeah. It is a bit like I'm a drummer and I made like here is a part.
Okay. So what is the next part?
So the next is the bass line.
Yeah.
So we created this bass line here. You have a listener only to the bass. So in combination with the drums it listens like this. So, and what I want to say is I have often problems with creating the right bass line, because yeah, it is hard for me. So I recorded at my home studio 2 different bass lines where it is very tricky to edit it in a really good groove, because there are not as much highs and it is not as bouncy. It is a bit wobbly.
You tried to make a wobble bass again.
Yeah,
okay.
But it was very hard, and so I decided, okay, let's go to Christoph, ask him if that works or if we can mix it in. At this part, it was super tricky to mix it in, but we create then another bass line, this one, and decide that we use parts of the bass line I record that are cool in any ways. So I use that parts I record for like the bass riser sounds or for like addition to the bass sound to make it a bit more cool and a bit more variation. So if you create the bass line that is not all the way very perfect, don't delete it. Have a look what you can maybe use for samples or for make everything
to put
cooler.
some accents in.
So put some accents, and then it listen like this.
And what I just said, it's important to cut the bass out on these additional tracks.
Yeah, it's very important. So you shouldn't have two bass lines overall. But we had to say that we already mix it. So the under bass line is without lows, they're just the highs. And I make only this part now. Two bass lines, one.
Okay.
So, and in this part, here are only high notes and here are only lows. So you can have it both together. If here is the low inside, you should normally make it like this, that the bass notes don't f to each other.
Okay.
And it listens like this now.
Okay, so what are the next elements?
So the next element is, just make the solo off. The next element is here that hypnotic bell that I create because my personally love is hypnotic techno. So I really like that hypnotic bells that give you that mystic flavor. It is very simple because hypnotic is like a very simple groove and the whole over the track. So otherwise it would not be hypnotic, that's the secret. But what you should do is, if you have a very simple sequence, that you modulate something or use the filters or use a decay or the resonance or what else. So have a simple sequence and record it, and while the sequence is recording, you play with the filter, with the frequency, with the resonance, what else you like, that you make it a bit more exciting.
Yeah, and what I said before is also the interesting thing here is that you can play with the velocity.
Yeah.
So
you can do it too. You have here the pitch, which and then you can use the velocity full, and then it is like you put a very, very hard accent to the note. Maybe we can listen a few variations. What is important that the variations are not too often, because then it's not hypnotic too. Here is the filter, you listen it. Maybe here is a bit more high frequencies, yeah.
Okay, so this transforms into a wave signal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then all together, put it like this. -5 or -6. So, okay, the next thing is the Athmo. I also like atmospheres in the background because I like mystic sounds and not too dry. And so I create all the way something like a pad sound that is very high, very thin, and that I play live. So it is not that pad sound that you play on the Juno with soundtrack, that is a whole track inside. It is more like an addition to make it a bit more exciting, a bit more mystical, a bit more dark, a bit more weird.
Okay.
And it listens like this.
Okay. And
here
the effects you used are all Ableton stock effects?
no.
Do you have something special?
The effects that I use are in combination Ableton and from the Arturia package.
Eternity delay.
Yeah. And I have also a Valhalla Shimmer inside, but I think I will not use it. So just try out some things. So, and here it listens like this. All the way it listens a bit different. I play it live and I will cut out that positions where I don't like, and hopefully there is another part where I can use another part for this part. And maybe if there is not, then okay, this here is cool, then you just copy it a few times and then you're staying safe. And that is what I usually do with the background sound and with kind of the drum sound, that I play it live. This is my workflow. For the first, I start to record all live, and then I will like basteln, make that job that normally small children do with their scissors.
Bring the toy back! Bring the toy back to the carpet!
Okay, so let's listen to the whole thing together.
The drums here in the background, the head is what I record live. You listen it here. So, and here we have a very cool part too, with that red bass additions. Yeah, that is what I create with that small boy or girl. What else? I think more a girl.
Okay, cool. So let's finish it later and let's release it on Drehstrom, okay?
Yeah, let's do this.
I'll be back.
If you like to listen to the sound we produce here, plus some classics from the early 2000s, we'd like to invite you to our Bandcamp. Here's the link. So here is another idea I had while I was recording my Phaser rant yesterday. What about using the Solina as an effect for the edge? Ready? Okay, this was our second approach to the edge. All in all, a nice little creative synth for your studio toolbox. If you also like to get one for you, consider ordering it from Thomann via our partner link. This way we got a little share. And of course, if you like my content, feel free to subscribe and to leave a like. And leave your thoughts on Behringer's new edge in the comments. Please stay friendly. See you in the next one. Peace, Dankeschön and auf Wiedersehen. Yes!